here in Globe at the Board of Supervisors meeting, and I'd like to call it to order, and I've asked Mr. J.J. DeCola to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With liberty and justice for all. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. JJ is a Korean War veteran.
What's that?
You're a Korean War veteran.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And he's very proud of that. He's also very proud that he's 90-some years old.
90.
90. Even 90. Okay. We're glad to have you this morning. So today we're having a work session, and those present are Supervisor Christensen and Klein. Supervisor Humphrey has another obligation first thing this morning, but we do have a quorum. So item 2A will be the first item that we talk about, information discussion regarding a Gila County Rural Drinking Water Program. And Michael, would you like to introduce us on that?
Thank you, Chairman, Supervisor Klein. What I'd like to do is turn this presentation over to Mr. Colin Goddard, who's with Source Global, and this presentation will at least give some information to the board as well as some of the residents as far as some opportunities out there for the rural counties in Arizona to obtain clean drinking water during times of emergencies, and talk about the partnerships that the residents have in order to possibly qualify for grants to get these water systems onto their property. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Colin Goddard.
Good morning, Colin.
Thank you, Supervisor Christensen, Supervisor Klein, for an opportunity to speak. Michael, thank you again, and members of the staff and the public for giving me a few minutes of your time. I have a short presentation that helps share some visuals, if that's able to be shown. Wonderful. That can help explain kind of what we do in the conversations and partnerships we try to have. But to introduce myself, my name is Colin Goddard. I'm a Vice President of Project and Business Development for Source Global. We are a Scottsdale-based water technology company that was founded out of research done at Arizona State University in the early 2010s. I cover our work here in Arizona and New Mexico, and we have kind of teams working throughout the U.S. Southwest as well as countries all around the world. We are a public benefit corporation, so a for-profit company, but in our mission and bylaws to do public good, and we have one mission at this organization is to help make clean drinking water an unlimited and renewable resource. Good thing I have this presentation somewhat memorized. All right, there we go. Wonderful.
There we go. Now I understand this is not working today, but that's new, and we're going to have it working soon, I think.
Okay. Wonderful.
Great.
So that's a little bit overview of who we are. And we exist because drinking water access in Arizona and much of the U.S. Southwest is getting harder. Right? There are long-term droughts in the aridification of this region. There are naturally occurring and man-made things that get into our water supply that make it hard to drink, right? And particularly for rural communities, small communities with low density, right? The economics and the technical skills for a centralized water infrastructure can be really hard. And so, what many families have to do, particularly in rural areas, is rely on, plastic bottled water, which, works for a lot of folks, but is expensive and has its own environmental challenges and cost and waste. And this was kind of the problem set that our team at Arizona State University and the team of researchers and our founder and CEO took and said, how can we jump over these challenges in the same way cell phones jumped over the challenges of centralized landlines, in the same way solar panels have jumped over centralized energy generation, and make drinking water wherever it's needed. And the way that they do that is with a core strategy called solar atmospheric water harvesting. So it's tapping into the abundant amount of solar energy available in Arizona with how much sunlight the state gets, and accessing the drinking water that's actually stored in water molecules in the air, and creating that and turning that water vapor into liquid drinking water using nothing but renewable resources. And the way that our company does this is with a hydro panel, which is what we make and manufacture here in Arizona and deploy around the world. So it kind of looks like a solar panel, but instead of making electricity from the sun, like a solar panel does, it makes water from the air using the solar energy. It creates water, it stores the water inside, it keeps the water clean, and then it dispenses it to drink in a fully off-grid system to make, store, and dispense clean drinking water. Like I said, these are off-grid systems, so they don't need power connections, they don't need water connections. You can quite literally put these on the ground, point them towards the sun, and make your own drinking water supply straight out of the air. Oh, and we have operational sites all around the world today. We use this technology to provide drinking water to small scale, everything from an individual home to kind of a medium-sized system at a school or a community center, or a large-scale system. We can fit about 900 of these in an acre of space and make about an acre-foot of water per year in that acre of space. And we do everything kind of in between. Here's a map of our operational sites in the U.S. Southwest as of today. We have nearly over 2,500 homes that have source hydro panels equipped at their residence to provide them a drinking water supply. And when we do a residential installation on a home, it's there to provide a high-quality drinking water, right? For cooking, for drinking purposes. It's not there to do toilets and showers and the whole supply, but be that supplemental part that you need to have drinking and cooking water that you don't have to go buy it in a water bottle. So each one of these dots there is a site. You see most of our work has been in kind of we have a big partnership with the Navajo Nation up in the northeast corner, which I'll talk about shortly. And then we've been just doing a project in the southern part of the state with a grant from the state of Arizona and Local First Arizona to equip 800 homes in rural parts of the southern part of the state with these residences, and then with these systems, excuse me. And then we have a bunch of projects in the Central Valley, California, as well, where most of our work has been. So when we upgrade a home with this hydro panels, it's similar to kind of a solar panel where you put it on the ground or you put it on the roof. As long as you have sun access on it, you don't want it to be shaded. And then that's where it harvests the water in the hydro panel. And then there's one water line that goes from those hydro panels to a water tank inside the home. We have everything from the small ones that go into your kitchen sink, or the larger ones, 40-gallon ones that can go in a closet or a garage or something like that. And then from there, we have a water line that goes to a tap in the sink, in the kitchen, or in the refrigerator, or on the wall. Our water lines never connect to any water lines in the house, so we never worry about cross-contamination with some other water supply in the home. And also, many of the families that we serve really in rural, underserved communities don't have traditional piped infrastructure, and we're not prevented from providing drinking water in those situations. And so that's kind of how they harvest water at the hydro panel, they store their water, and they dispense it to drink really conveniently inside the home for easy access. So some case studies to cover briefly. First is our project in Central Valley, California, a heavily agricultural community that, here's one example of a small community of Allensworth, very small community that's really struggled to get the economies of scale for a centralized treatment plant to deal with their local arsenic problem that's in their water supply. And so families have relied on bottled water for decades. And so through a philanthropic grant we were able to obtain in the state, we've equipped now nearly 2/3 of those homes with their own individual hydro panel drinking water systems to eliminate the need for those families to have to go buy bottled water and increase the availability of clean drinking water conveniently inside their home to make people have easier access to drink something healthy and safe. So it's a good example of kind of when there is water, but it's not great quality and people rely on bottled water, a way to eliminate that need for bottled water and harvest it right where you need it. Another big partnership that we have and really we're proud of is our partnership with Navajo Nation. They have many families that live miles from the nearest water line, and many have been told that they won't get a pipe water supply to their home in their lifetimes. And this became really well known during the COVID pandemic when everyone was encouraged to shelter in place. And it's hard to shelter in place when you don't have clean water in your house. So while the nation was setting up water fill stations at chapter houses, they partnered with us to equip over 500 homes in rural parts of their nation with their own individual residential drinking water systems, so those families had a clean drinking water supply available in their house. It was really a great partnership, and just this year, they used part of their CARES Act appropriation to fund that project. And just this year, we signed our Phase 2 agreement with Navajo Nation's Department of Water Resources. We'll be equipping another about 600 homes over the course of next year with the same kind of residential systems, at those individual rural households. So a great partnership, and we're hopeful that we, by the end of next year, we have over about 1,000 systems on Navajo Nation alone, which, I think should be somewhere close to 50% of that whole population up there that doesn't have a supply. So I think making a great positive impact up there. We did a survey of the families who participated in our Phase 1. The vast majority of the families did rely on bottled water for their drinking and their cooking and their coffee and all that basic stuff. And some families had truck water services, those big 5-gallon jugs, or they had a cistern system that got filled, but they didn't really drink it that much. And then some people had kind of their own makeshift well. But we were really trying to target the population that wasn't connected to a water system, that had ability to upgrade infrastructure, right, and provide services. Really trying to find those folks off grid, so to speak. People really like the taste, right? We make a really high quality water for human consumptive purposes, right? It really encourages people to drink water. And so people really like it as opposed to the taste of, bottled water. And some great testimonials from people, I think, who really benefited from a capability like this. Members, elderly families that have trouble hauling water or carrying cases back and forth. People with physical limitations that had hard time to go and fetch water all the time. Really appreciated having a nice, easy, convenient supply available inside their home. And so we are working with Arizona counties and kind of going to every single county and trying to understand dynamics within those communities to understand, are there other kind of rural areas where there's a challenging water supply in those communities that don't have something clean and safe to drink? And how can we partner together to ensure those rural residents always have clean, safe drinking water in their home for every single day and also during emergencies? That helps improve their quality of life, helps people save money because they don't have to buy a plastic bottled water, and helps reduce plastic waste. And so there are various grant programs, some through the WIFA organization, the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, available for county governments now to apply for up to a $2 million grant or a $3 million loan or a combination of the two to develop drinking water supplies for rural communities. We realize that many counties, aren't involved in the water business and really don't want to be and understand that. And, we also understand that the kind of tools available to county officials and staff, by the most part, require them to get involved in the water business in some capacity. But, with a new, Arizona-born idea like this could create an opportunity for the county and their departments to help improve that, that end result and improve access to drinking water for rural parts of their communities without having to get involved in the water business and do something really not really like a water infrastructure project, but more of a housing, a water efficiency, energy efficiency type program to improve the status quo and improve that accessibility to those rural households that are hard to reach with those traditional water lines. And so, we've been trying to do some analysis based on the data that's publicly available about Gila County specifically to have a little bit more informed conversation today. So we've created a map here that shows the county, and the big light blue areas and are places considered not economically disadvantaged. The kind of tan orange areas are considered economically disadvantaged. The dark blue areas are areas where public water systems have their service territory. So those are areas where people live in those dark blue squares and rectangles. Those are people served by a water system. And then all the dots, the orange and red dots there around there are residential addresses. So likely where there are residential locations. So we really try to look for where are there dots that aren't in the blue areas, right? That aren't served by water systems where there are a large portion of well owners or people hauling water. And so, these are, there's several places in the county that we think could be interested to understand more about what's going on in those communities. Maybe the staff here at the county or the supervisors have heard about to understand, they could be good beneficiaries for a potential program in the future if the county chooses to do so to help improve access to drinking water in those part of the counties. And so that was hopefully a short but succinct and thorough overview of our work in technology. And again, we are seeking a partnership opportunity with the county to apply for grant funds and to help some of the underserved members of the community improve their access to clean drinking water here in Gila County. So thank you all very much for an opportunity. I know I said a lot, but happy to answer questions there.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard. Supervisor Klein?
Yeah, Colin, thank you. That's, so Kathy's in the back. Usually she refreshes my memory, but here 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't do it. I believe it was Resolution, along with White Mountain Apaches, put one of these systems in Carrizo Creek. Was it your systems?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a big help to those folks right there.
Yes, sir.
And are you still active in that area and putting more in there?
Yes, sir. You can see those. I can show you back here. You'll see them on our map. We did about 32 homes in the Carrizo community.
Okay.
With the White Mountain Apache. Yeah, that was funded by Resolution Copper. A great partnership with them that we really appreciate. That was a part of their community that had water supply, but was really high in I think magnesium or manganese.
Yeah.
That made the water quality really poor, and people didn't really like to drink it. And
Right.
so we were able to install individual homes in that whole community to provide them drinking water.
So they're still operating
Yep.
and working?
To our knowledge, they're still
Okay.
operating, working, right? We work with, at that point, after we install the systems, we work with individual families.
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually, all of our projects include a 5-year warranty and a 5-year prepaid maintenance plan, if the funding allows for it,
Mm-hmm.
to cover those basics or annual O&M for families who receive these systems. Sometimes, we can do different years for that depending on where the funding source can come from.
So is Resolution still helping you with that project, or?
We've actually been talking about some other areas. We talked to the White Mountain Apache, and they're doing a variety of other water projects to provide more water resources for their community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a specific project with them at this time,
Mm-hmm.
but we have started talking with the Hopi Nation through them, as well as we did a project with the San Carlos Apache tribe. You see some of the other dots
Mhm.
around there. About that was also with philanthropic funds. Did about 100 homes or so with their own residential systems. I'll be meeting with them actually later today. Kind of talk about how that's been going. Been about 2 years or so since we started that project. And yeah.
Cool. And Michael, you've got all the information that we need for grants or anything like that?
Yes, sir.
So on these days like we have today, where it's just a little bit overcast, will they still produce, those units still produce water?
Yes, sir. On days like overcast, they will still produce water. They'll produce less water.
Mm-hmm.
But we model out kind of how much, every single location we can use weather information to say, what does it look like in this part of the country?
Mm-hmm.
And then therefore, the systems need to be bigger or smaller, depending on what kind of volume we want to supply. So for a home, for a kind of average family of 4, we put 2 hydro panels on each house.
Mm-hmm.
And the data for Arizona that we have is those two panel systems produces approximately 75 to 100 bottles of water a week on average. So 3 to 4 cases a week is the kind of volume you can think for a small home system. That's like 40 to 50 gallons a month, to give you a ballpark on there, right? So good for that drinking water piece, not for toilets and showers in the whole
Right.
supply, right? But for that drinking water piece is kind of where we set systems. But Navajo Nation, for example, they said we want more water supply, so they're putting 3 on every house.
Uh-huh.
So we can kind of scale that to meet the requirements of our partners and projects.
So when you mentioned earlier about the taste of the water, do you guys have a way of changing that? I mean, to me, it seems like you would collect whatever water out of the atmosphere you're gonna collect, and that's it, unless you put something in it to improve it or change it or whatever. What is that?
Yes, sir. Great question. So I'll give you a little bit more about how it works. Here I have an appendix slide that will go over that. So how it works is the sun powers fans that pulls in the air around to inside the hydro panel. And then that air gets passes over kind of a sponge-like material. This is what the team at Arizona State University developed. This is their kind of invention, is this really clever material that absorbs hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So it loads up the sponge with moisture, and then instead of cooling the air down like a dehumidifier does or air conditioner does, it heats the air up and puts the hot air on one side, the regular temperature air on the other side, and that's how we get our temperature change, right, to condense from water vapor to liquid. That's like when you have a hot shower and a cold bath and all that liquid condensation happens. So that's how we work, and we're different than like a dehumidifier. And so that water through that condensation process is very clean, right? It's a great way to start with good quality water.
Right.
It's slightly acidic on the pH scale. So it's more like distilled water in its taste. So some people like that, but most people don't like that taste. So to your point, sir, we add calcium magnesium. We raise the pH balance of the water to make it really taste nice and have a nice mouth feel. before
Okay.
it gets dispensed. And so we don't, we have the one formula, so all the water, tastes the same whether you're putting it here, you're putting it in India, you're putting it in Phoenix. Doesn't matter at all. Tastes the same high level quality that is our kind of blend, so to speak, for really good tasting drinking water.
And then how often do you have to go around and maintain it or redo it?
Once per year, you change out the air filter on each hydro panel that keeps kind of dust from going inside. And then wherever you have your tap, we have a polishing cartridge that you have to change once per year.
Okay.
And it's about, for a single home, so 2 of those on a house, about $80 once per year of maintenance. And it's
Okay.
about $40 for the parts and $40 for the labor. It takes about half an hour to change out those things. It's really designed that you don't have to do a whole lot. Certainly the owners of the systems don't have to turn things on and off every day or do anything. They can just access that tap and drink it. And then, we either have a program to either cover that maintenance cost for some period of time on those families, or they can pay us to keep doing that service for them. In some cases, we can mail them the supplies and they can do it if they want to. You have different options.
So big question then is how much does one of these units cost?
Yes, sir. Great question. Sorry, I didn't cover that. Let's see. Here's some of the other components, but I'll just stick here. Each hydro panel is currently $2,400. So when we put 2 on a house, you're about just under $5,000 for the hardware, and then you need to add in shipping, installation costs to get everything set up and water flowing. You're about $7,500 per household, all in. So that can be a lot for some families. But if you take that water and the $80 a year for maintenance over the 15 years of its operating life, we make these at about 7 cents a water bottle. So it's cheaper than having to go buy this at the store in most places. It's not cheaper than city water, but over time, if bottled water is your drinking water supply, this is cheaper in the long run on a marginal cost basis.
Okay.
And so that's why we try to find grants to help lower that initial cost for families, particularly lower income families in underserved parts of communities, where grants can be applied to lower that or fully subsidize those projects. And then the families will pick up that annual, maintenance bill, service bill with us.
Okay. Colin, thank you. Good information.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It is.
And this is made in Arizona.
Yes, sir. We have a manufacturing facility here. We do the IP here. We also have one in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
We do a lot of work in Australia.
Now, is your company then, is this proprietary or is it, so you have like the patent on this?
Yes, sir.
And how long will you have that?
Actually, I don't think we're going to ask that question. We have a slew of patents on the technology and various aspects of it.
Okay, so no one else is doing this technology?
Not the hydro panel, no. There are a few others in the air-to-water systems, but if you look at those all require a power connection.
Yeah.
And they're more like your dehumidifier and your air conditioner that uses the coolant technology. And they don't really work well in low humidity environments. The way we do it allows it to make water when it's 10% or 5% relative humidity outside. It makes less, but we can still make water in those really dry environments where those other capabilities cannot. So that's why we're unique in that way.
Yeah, and other than the fact that it wears out, there's really no cost involved at producing the water.
Correct.
I mean, the sun powers it, the water moves on its own, right? And then you just have a maintenance thing once a year.
Correct.
And you feel about 15 years before the unit needs to be.
Yeah, more thoroughly serviced. The components will go longer than 15 years. Like certainly the solar panel in the middle will, but 15 years is what we say before more thorough servicing. So hopefully, it can be a helpful tool. It's not going to be the one thing that fixes it all, right? But hopefully a helpful tool in the tool belt to help reach particularly really rural, remote communities that are struggling with other options, and something that can be done relatively quickly, right? When we get to a house, we're up and running in about 4 hours. So it's something that can be done fast for the communities in rural parts that might be waiting a long time for other big infrastructure projects.
Well, I know a lot of people that have well water, that can be very hard. And so drinking that can be a struggle. So, yeah, I drink. It's what I drink. I quit drinking out of the tap a long time ago because it tastes so bad. And so, yeah. You have more?
I was just gonna say that these units help those folks in Creosote Creek a lot because that water in Creosote Creek is as black as this desk up here and is nasty. And so I know they got a lot of good use out of that. So
We're proud of that one, sir. And
Mhm.
that's what we're trying to find. Just again, there's a lot more communities like that that we are trying to learn about. So that's why we want a partnership with counties. Counties typically have the best understanding of kind of rural communities in their district, and just be able to form a partnership. Usually we work with community services or health or housing departments, not really kind of public works or water, to identify those communities and then find ways that we can find funding resources and structure projects to enroll for eligible families and provide the equipment to that.
So Michael, I guess going forward, you can stay in touch with Colin because I know District Two has some places it has water issues too, right here in Globe.
Yep, absolutely, and I'll make sure that, the Public Health Director and Community Services Director, Josh Beck, reaches out to Colin, and, we do have in that department a good handle on what communities would probably benefit the most from this type of system, Colin.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, thanks. Now, on the taste, the magnesium and all that you add in, is that, how is that done? So in other words, it passes through a filter, passes through a cartridge?
Yes, sir. Passes through a cartridge just before it goes in between the tank and the tap. It passes through that mineralization cartridge just before it gets dispensed.
I see, and so if the water, so then the water has to flow at a consistent speed as it's moving through that, or it will capture more or less of that.
Yeah, we have a pressurized line.
I
We
see.
pressurize that line. We have a pump, so it's not a gravity-fed system. It's a pressurized line with a pump that
Yeah.
pumps that water through.
And all that's done with solar power.
All that's done with solar power, a small battery on board that's designed for system production. It doesn't make energy for other uses. You can't plug your phone and charge your phone or turn on a light with that. We get that question a lot. Everything that it makes is designed for water
Right.
provision.
Yeah, I didn't even know this technology existed, so it's encouraging to think that we might be able to help people in Gila County. And that's so great. I appreciate very much the presentation. Do you have anything else?
You had some great questions, and again, appreciate an opportunity just to talk to staff. We want to come talk to the board first and let you know kind of what we do and answer your questions, and then work with your teams to really understand and get in where are their challenges and, what are their resources available and how can we form partnerships to help make something happen for folks.
Okay.
Colin, did you bring any business cards or?
Yes, sir, I have them in my bag, in the back there.
Okay.
I can provide you to them at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you need to take off, just go ahead and bring them up, whatever
Yeah.
works,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay,
All right,
Thank you,
well, thank you
Supervisor.
very much.
thank you for the questions. Thank you so much for the
Yeah,
time.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Take care.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and grab your cards now? That'd be great. I think I need to get one of those. So, Michael, we're going to do item 2B next. Information discussion regarding whether the Gila County Tommy Klein Martin Complex is a viable new location for the construction and installation of the Rally Around the Flags project.
Great. Thank you, Chairman and Supervisor Klein. So this is truly going to be a joint presentation.
Okay,
So we have representatives here from the Elks Club, Moose Lodge, Supervisor Christensen. So I'm going to go back to February of this past year where the Board of Supervisors did approve an economic development grant for a project called Rally Around the Flags. So the Rally Around the Flags project is a branch of military per flag, and it was set up, so it was a partnership between the Elks Club, the Payson Elks Club, as well as the Board of Supervisors. And each Board of Supervisor at that time, with the Economic Development Grant, agreed to give $5,000 to the project once the not-for-profit raised a certain amount of money. So the total price in the Economic Development Grant was, if I'm not mistaken, $80,000. So the not-for-profit was going to collect $65,000. The Board of Supervisors was going to kick in $15,000 for the $80,000. So that was the original plan. That plan has sort of shifted. The location of the construction of the Rally Around the Flags project in the original Economic Development Grant was going to be the Tano Apache property. So that fell through, and so the newest location that Supervisor Christensen and the group have been working on is the Tommy Klein Martin Complex, which is a county-owned facility. So we're here today because that sort of changes the scope of the entire project where it was on non-Gila County property, and now the new location is going to be on the county property. So that's why I'm here in a work session with Supervisor Christensen and everybody here to sort of present this project in a different way than it was with the Economic Development Grant project. The Economic Development Grant is going to be terminated basically because it's no longer valid. So we're going to sort of back up a little bit, start from scratch, give a complete overview of what the project is and the meaning behind it, and hear your feedback. So before I go to the next stage of this presentation, are there any questions?
Supervisor Klein? I wanted to say, though, that Kathy Melvin and Supervisor Klein began this journey. And so we've been working together, sort of, that it's not me. It's not my project, but it was brought to me as it was also brought to Supervisor Klein.
So this project is a good project. It's a cool project, and it started back quite a while back up there at your place, Jerry, huh? And so it's to where it is today. I do have questions. I do have some ideas other than the office building there, but so and as far as economic grant stuff goes and what it started out to be, yeah, that's no problem. We can turn around and just renew whatever we need to and keep going. So that's not an issue. But, and I don't know if you want to hear my thoughts on this or not, but right now, or if you guys want to talk some more about it, or.
How about I talk a little bit more about
Okay.
the supervisor and then introduce Jerry DeCola, and she has some words to say on this project. And
Absolutely.
then be happy to answer any question after that.
You bet.
So yeah, the reason why we're starting from scratch on this project is if we put this project on the county property, then we'd have to involve facilities in this project because it's a construction project. So it goes through our entire procurement process, which is different than the Economic Development Grant, which was just us giving funding to the not-for-profit to assist them in this project. So that's one of the reasons why we're backing up and starting again. But as far as the meaning behind this, as far as the work behind this, what I'd like to do is introduce Jerry DeCola and have her say a few words on this project and then see where we're at after that. So Jerry?
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Jerry. And your husband, JJ DeCola, is with you,
Yes.
as well as Art and Karen Scher.
Right. They're
And
planning
you
to-
and Art are on the Pleasant Valley
Yes.
Board of Directors.
Yes, we are.
And at one time, you were the prestigious tribal chairwoman of the Tono
Right.
Apache tribe.
That's right.
So thanks for being here today.
Okay. Right now, I'm the cultural department person, and I'm teaching the Apache language to the kids there. Yeah, so I've got a big task to uphold. But thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the time that you're allowing us to present our project to you today. We're very appreciative, and we are here to respectfully ask Gila County to consider our request to build the Rally Around the Flag project at the Gila County facility, I guess, which is named the Tommy Martin Complex property that's located at Highway 87 and Main Street. Our project started over 2 years ago and has garnered enormous support from the Payson community and citizens of Gila County. So far, we have collected $33,085 in donations from local businesses, community organizations, schools, veterans, and everyday citizens. Plus, there's an additional $10,000 that was pledged by the Tonto Apache tribe for the project. And we have an in-kind contribution for concrete from George Randall of Payson Concrete. I have to admit that collecting the donations was not easy. Art and my husband JJ spent weekends several weekends in front of Walmart in the hot sun and canvassed dozens of groups and presented to numerous organizations. But once the people heard about our project and our vision for the flags, they were very enthusiastically on board. One instance in fundraising that stands out right now is that when Payson Elementary School first graders heard about our project, they were very excited about it because many of them had veterans or family who were veterans, and they wanted to raise money towards the project. Unbeknownst to us, they went on their own, and because they were so excited, they raised $1,100 for the project, all on their own. They called us to come to the school, and they proudly presented the check to Art on behalf on behalf of the school for Rally Around the Flag, and it was very heartwarming. The students, the staff, school superintendent Linda Gibson, Vice Mayor Barbara Underwood, and school board member Susan Ward were there, along with the school to give the presentation. There was a nice write-up in the paper about the event that was held. And when we were there, the kids presented us with this booklet, which has the kindness deliver a surprise. They call them the Ninja Warriors. Here's a copy of the check that they presented. And they also had wrote cards to the veterans, like they were saying, thank you, veterans. And one was a particular one of them wrote, I love where I live because I have freedom. I can go to the park, I can go to the pool. All of this is because of you, the veterans. Thank you. And there are many others that have wrote. If you would like to take a look at it, I'll be glad to leave it with you. But anyway, continue on with what I have to say. So much support is behind the project because it will serve as an honor and tribute to roughly the 7,000 veterans living in Gila County. It will also serve as an educational tool for our students and citizens for decades to come to know that Gila County honors what our veterans have fought for, our freedom. Our freedom to be free, to express ourselves and our opinions, and freedom to live in a great country. Payson is the flag capital of Arizona, and this, along with the Pleasant Valley Veterans Retreat that the county worked so hard to establish in Young, will serve as an additional honor and tribute to our veterans. The Gila County property in Payson is a significant location and will become a visible landmark for many generations to come and for many to visit. It will also be an educational tool for our youth to know about what the flag represents and how our veterans fought hard to give us again the freedom that we have. And today we come to you to respectfully request and ask that you kindly consider the project that I just presented to you. Thank you for your time, supervisors, and to Mr. O'Driscoll for giving us the time and the opportunity. God bless. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jerry. Very well stated. Okay, Michael, let's dig into the details.
Absolutely, Chairman. So the details are, if the board would like staff to consider this location, the process, I'd like to go over the process of how this would work. And that would be, there are some challenges to this location. It's close to the Beeline Highway, and so we have ADOT right-of-ways, we have ADOT setback distances. We would have to, and we have already looked into some of this, but we would have to, since it is a construction project, we would have to get it designed and engineered because there are walking paths and there's lights. So we do have to clear a lot of this with ADOT as far as how close to the Beeline Highway they would allow us to have the lights and the flags next to the highway. So, but once we get the design and engineer, then we go out for, we look at in-kind help. I understand that there are some local contractors willing to put their resources towards this project, so we'd have to coordinate all of that with our community development department, our facilities department, and all the contractors. So there are some challenges, but that's sort of the process. It would probably be about an 8 to 10 month process if we get the go-ahead, because we still need to get all the permits through ADOT and everything else like that. So I hope that explains the process and how this would work, sir.
Okay. So I'm not sure we had walking paths as part of it, but we can certainly include that as part of it. The lights, of course, and the ADOT, all of that, right? So that's just some of the hurdles we got to get through. I understand that the $15,000 that we committed for the project that we need to rewrite, we need to redo all that, but that 15,000 won't affect this fiscal year's constituent funds. It's, as I talked to Maren, she said it would still be pulled from last year's.
I will trust our finance director, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Supervisor Klein.
So this is a project that I do want to see through. I want to see us be able to do this. This is a really good project. And these folks have put in a ton of time on it. It'd be good for Payson and everybody else that visits Payson, that goes through there. And we talk about this site there, and if that was to be the site, then so be it. But I wanted to throw out an option to look at for another site. You know, not saying that it's the one or whatever, but another option. We have 22 plus acres right along Highway 260 that we're not doing anything with. And that would give us all the room in the world to put whatever we wanted with the flags, right? To turn it into memorial plus the flags, or however we wanted to look at that, gives us a lot of room. The other thing that I want to say too is I've checked this site out before, driving through Payson. You know, when this started, up there at JJ and Jerry's place is up on the hill. So when you come down through Payson, you're looking at it the whole way, which was really cool in my mind. That was really cool. But one of the problems I have with it here is right there where our office is, in the courthouse, Chamber of Commerce, the intersection at the jail, the post office is a busy street. That's a busy part of 87 right there. And when I've tried to do this in my mind going down through there, is to be able to look over and see those flags and still keep an eye on the traffic right there and the people that's turning out, turning whatever. And it's not real easy to do. It's not, you know, it sets back just a little ways to where it's just a little bit out of your vision without really craning your head to look at it. Something I just did myself to check. So I wanted to throw out another option if staff would look at it and just see if there's something doable there. I mean, I know at the office it would be nice, but I also know we're really cramped for space. There's not a lot of space and everything as well. So if we're looking to want some space, want it to where a lot of people's gonna still see it. I mean, the majority of the traffic through Payson goes right out 260 and comes right back in. And we have the visual perspective there. When you go down 260, you can see it for a long ways, right? So I just wanted to throw that out. It's not a deal breaker if we don't put it there as far as I'm concerned. I want to see this project finished and put together because I think it's a really cool project. I just would throw it out there to look at that acreage on 260.
If the group is agreeable to that, I could always have our facility department and myself meet up with you at that property and just walk it and
Yes, I
get your input on that.
Yes, we'd like to see the option number 2, where the location is.
Perfect.
Yes, it sounds like, you know, it would be very feasible to do that.
Perfect. Certainly, we can do that, sir.
I think from a project standpoint, it would probably be pretty easy there. infrastructure should all be right there close that we would need. Room, I mean, we could put whatever size to it we want to, you know. Really, right there, when we put up the flags, that's it. There's no more room, you know. Somewhere else, you could put up the flags, have any kind of memorials in around the flags that you wanted, or space, or whatever we want to do with it. It's just an idea I wanted to throw out there to everybody, and I'd really like to see your guys' input on it to see what you think about it. That's really all I had.
Great, thank you, sir. Yeah, we'll certainly take a look at that property, and then I'll come back and present to the board.
Okay. Yeah, and that's not a bad thought. The location that we were considering, or that they were considering for the TCM, would be kind of in an unbuildable place on that property.
That is correct, sir.
So we wouldn't be, if we did the project at TCM, it wouldn't necessarily be in the way of future growth.
Most likely not, sir, because of the setback that ADOT requires from the highway.
What about
And
expansion of the
it's-
parking or anything? Would that be affected?
No, sir.
Okay. The size of the flags, I don't think I have that, but anyway, they're going to be proposed to be fairly large, right? They were 5 by 8 feet, I think, and then the American flag would have been larger. I had another drawing of that. It, and then it would be taller.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, that's kind of my rendition. I wouldn't call myself an artist, but
Sir,
that's,
it's a heck of a lot better than I could do.
that's just a kind of a concept. And so, there is a tree over on the right side that probably will not be in the way.
I
And,
think, yeah, I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, Chairman, there's a couple trees, but one of them, we're only talking about the one closest to the project that
there's one right behind that bench that you see that's a scraggly old mess that probably, we could probably sacrifice that one. I didn't put it in the drawing because it is kind of
Yeah.
struggling to survive
Yes,
at the
it is.
moment. So I hate to cut down trees, but that one there's pretty small even.
Mhm.
By the way, have you seen what the elk are doing to the trees along the north edge there of the property?
Yeah, they're doing that to quite a few trees in the town of Payson.
Yeah, they've, anyway, thank goodness their antlers are cleaned off though. So, given the fact that we might have then available for this project already funded would be $58,000 or so, that's already kind of planned for it, plus donations. So it shouldn't be a strain on the budget, I would hope. We don't really know what it's gonna cost.
No, we don't, sir. And so I know the original estimate was about 80,000, but that was on the Apache location, where if I'm not mistaken, some of that cost was to run electricity, some of the infrastructure up there.
Right.
Which would be less of a cost on the Tommy Klein Martin property and possibly the 260 property that we own as well.
Well, and they do have solar lights available that we may not need to hook up electricity. And so anyway, there's a lot of options there, but if the county does do this on whichever piece of property, it's gonna have to go through the regular procurement, out to bid kind of stuff, right?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so there is a specific supplier for the flags that they want to use. I'm pretty sure George Randall's bid of I'll provide the concrete is not going to be outbid. But anyway, we do get into that situation with the poles, the installation, all of it. And we
Yes.
don't really know what that's going to cost.
That's true, sir. And this will be very similar to the project we worked on with the statue, where we had some local contractors donate time, donate resources. So this is going to be very similar on the resources that we're going to need to bring in from the outside that are not donated. Those will have to go through the procurement process, and we'll have to work with the local contractors on what they can actually provide to the county for this project, and that won't be part of the procurement process. So it's
Okay.
sort of, there's two different ways to go on this project, depending on local contractors, what they're gonna donate. But either case, it worked very well with the statue, so that's the same process we'll use with this flag project if it moves forward.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Supervisor?
I was just gonna say, one way or another, we need to move forward, but, we get all of our options on the table and take a look at it and listen to what you staff have to say, and then we can make it happen. The one thing I was thinking too I don't know about the office building, but something like on 260, can it be done in stages? That's something to look at as well. First stage, maybe getting the flags up and whatnot, and the lights on the flags. Second stage, doing something as far as asphalt or concrete around them or walkways. I don't know. I'm just thinking a way of breaking it up to make it easier to afford and whatever else, so.
That's a great point, sir. And the good news is our facility director, Joseph, who's in the audience today, typically when we go out for procurement process, we will get the bids back, and Joseph and his team will break it out by line item. So we're able to determine, in certain cases, if we don't have the funding for the complete project, but we have it for certain parts of it, we'll be able to know exactly what each part costs, and we could break it down by that to determine if we have the full cost at the time, then it's best to move forward and complete the project all in one fell swoop, so to speak.
Mhm.
But if we don't have the complete funding, then we could break it up in stages and see if that will work as well.
Good deal. It's a good project. It's a great project, so.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see it happen. So the dynamics of the project are what they presented. And so that's what we're trying to accommodate is what they would like to see happen. And so my preference, I think, is the TCM property. But Woody brought up a good point that we can explore another option and see whether or not that's going to be better, more accessible, or is better for the growth, or whether or not that complicates the sale of that property later or anything like that. And so like Jerry was saying, educational purposes and all of that, I think this monument can grow over time with plaques and different things that accommodate people. So we want to get the project done. We just don't know the details yet. And no, JJ, you can't talk.
I want to say just one thing.
Come on up.
Okay. Okay, JJ's going to say one thing.
We all know Bobby Davis, the mayor of Star Valley. He promised me that we would get national known for
Recognition?
being the most patriotic town in the United States.
Yes.
Because of Payson being the flag capital of Arizona, along with this monument. This was all done because this was a dream Art put together. I helped them. And all we're doing is promoting patriotism. And with these kids in school, they made me cry. They were hugging me and everything. And all I want to say is this is a wonderful thing for the country, as we need it so bad right now. Patriotism is the word we need to promote.
I think we all agree on that. Thank you. Thank you, JJ. Okay, Supervisor, any more?
Good. I'm good.
Okay,
Great.
you have enough direction there?
I have plenty of direction.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you very much. And
All right.
I'll get staff working
All right,
on
good.
it.
So it's been a process to get to the point where it becomes like, okay, let's introduce this project. Now everybody
Now
out
we're
there
gonna get
in
to
there.
the
Now
meat
we're
of
on a
it.
roll.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
good.
got you. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you,
Appreciate it.
Michael. And thank you, Supervisor, for,
Get all the options out, and
let's get all the options out.
we'll come to a good solution, I know.
Okay, we're going to move on to our last item. Item 2C, which is information discussion regarding an update on Discover Gila County, the county's tourism and marketing initiative. And we have Cameron and Chaz with us today. And we want to make sure that Chaz gets credit. You know, he's kind of sitting in the back, but, you know, he's an integral part, very integral part of this process.
It is,
So
actually.
thank you, Chaz.
Very
Yeah.
much.
Good morning.
Thank you, Supervisor Christensen and Supervisor Klein. We're really excited to be here today. We've got some good stuff to share with you that this has been a banner year for Discover Gila County. And the way I kind of put this presentation together today is this is our 5th anniversary. We're going into our 6th year, if you can believe that we've already hit 5 years of doing this project. And so what I'm going to share with you today is more what has happened over the last 5 years rather than just this last year, because I think you'll be pleasantly informed once you hear a lot of this information. So let me. So I know that you were aware of the two. One of the things that the board decided, the Gila County. Do we have? Not yet. Let me wait until she has the presentation pulled up here for you. Probably the slideshow. Okay. All right. So one of the big initiatives that we received from the board, Discover Gila County Board, was because it was the end of our 5th year, they asked us to go back to our stakeholder groups and hold 2 meetings. I think both of you actually came to those meetings in early February, if you remember back. We had one in Payson and one in Globe. And so go to the next. Oh, oops, I have it. Okay. So let's see. All right. So the focus was to return and report basically to the original stakeholder group that we had and re-engage with those stakeholder groups. We found that there were actually a bunch of new stakeholders that had come online basically over the last 5 years. And so we invited a lot of people. We did a new SWOT analysis basically that will be the foundation for the new marketing plan that we're getting ready to write for the next 5 years. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But the people that were represented there were state parks, Forest Service, Arizona Game and Fish, county leadership, municipal leadership, local tourism, businesses, event promoters, museums, and other 501c3 organizations. There was a total of over 80 people that came to those 2 meetings that we had in early February. So then, this is kind of leading up here. We are getting ready, because it is the end of the 5th year, we're going to do a brand new relaunch of Discover Gila County and engage a lot more of the new stakeholders and people that are now have new businesses or whatnot. Those are going to happen, one in Globe, which is at the Hollis Cinema 4 on November 12th, and that will actually happen from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And then in Payson on November 14th from 11:30 to 1. And both of you, and obviously Supervisor Humphrey, are invited to come to those, as well as everybody that can hear my voice here today is invited to those. The purpose in those meetings is actually to return and report to the public, to showcase and debut the new website that Chaz is going to talk about here in just a minute. He's going to give you a kind of a bird's eye view of what the new site looks like. Showcase our award-winning videos, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, and then build excitement and involvement for the next 5 years. We hope that the public will come out and join us in those 2 relaunches. So as you go around, please invite people to come and see what we're doing. Okay, so the next thing here is with any technology, 5 years is a long time. And so we have been using the same website that we built 5 years ago, and it's just time now to update it and actually put it on a platform that allows us to grow. And so we built a brand new website, and it focuses more, we built it more from mobile delivery than desktop delivery, if that makes sense. So much, over 80% of our traffic that comes to Discover Gila County is looking at it on their phone. So we need to make sure that it is good on a mobile device. It needs to be light and have fast load times. And that was something that kind of plagued us a little bit with the old one. But don't get me wrong, the old site did very well. It won tons of awards and had really been a great vehicle for getting us to where we are today. The new site actually has user-friendly search features that allow people to find stuff quicker and faster than they were able to before. It also gives us top-tier SEO tools that will allow us to localize our advertising and marketing initiatives better to showcase all the things that Discover Gila County does. The local eat and stay search is completely different. And it's very much, if you've ever gone on Zillow and you've searched for a property on Zillow, it's very similar to that kind of functionality, which is really nice. It has a map, and Chaz is going to show you that here in a minute. Our local job board, which has been very successful, was recently updated to match the new site as well. And then our history, videos, and family stories section of the site is growing. We actually have a section of the site that has the Arizona Memory Project, if you're familiar with that project. We were actually able to grab all of the recorded family histories for Gila County and put them on the site, which is really, really neat. So at this time, I'm gonna have Chaz come up, and I'll finish here in a minute, but he's gonna show you the new site.
Hey, Supervisor Klein, Supervisor Christensen, thanks for having us. So the biggest thing with this new website was we wanted it to get to a point where it was so easy for people to find what they were looking for. You've probably heard the number 100 times about how there's 500 pages and all this content and photos. And that's really cool, but we needed to get people where they were going faster. It's so funny because some of the biggest pages, most visited pages on our websites are things like Roosevelt Lake, but then like the Black River and some of these things that many of us wouldn't even really know about. Like right now, obviously the hunting pages are just off the charts. But when you go onto this new site design, if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see we're using all these new video assets that we've collected over the last couple of years to really just tug on people's heartstrings and make them say, oh my gosh, I need to go there. That looks so relaxing. That looks so fun, right? From hiking and the shots of the Mogollon Rim. And so that's kind of when you first enter into the site. Now, what we're talking about with some of the new functionality, is there a way that we can go like full, that's the fullest? Okay. So this is more of like what it would typically look like on a mobile view. On the home screen, you would see some of our main buckets like live, you know, eat and stay, adventure, some of those things, which you'd still see here on the mobile view. But if we close that real quick, so when they first come to the or to the home page, what happened when on the old side is we showcase some of our biggest attractions like the Roosevelt Lake or Beshpagawa or Pinal Mountains. But now as I scroll down this page a little bit, you'll see how we allowed everybody almost on this first page to get to something they want to do. From things to do, places to stay, Gila County history, which is a huge page on the website. as well as some of these subsidiary things like work in Gila County, community special events. The best way to showcase the area that we found, and if you'll kind of stop on this real quick, is some of these video assets that we've created over the years. So just click on the one right, yeah, that's fine. So people can just get a real quick visual of some of the things that they can do in the county. And you can close off of that real quick. There's stuff from the bridge, obviously the lake, Mogollon Rim, the wine country that we have here in Gila County. And if you keep scrolling, we still are able to highlight these big attractions that people typically come to, like the Tunnel National Bridge and some of these other ones. But if you keep scrolling, so you'll start to see here on the homepage how they can really get to just about any of these major attractions very quickly. We have full new imagery on. If you'll pause just here, we've taken time to take full new photographs that Discover Gila County owns to really showcase the area. High quality photographs. When we first started the project, a lot of it was through local photographers that bought into the general idea of Discover Gila County. Now Discover Gila County owns a lot of these photographs that you'll see, which are a lot more high quality, they're clear, they're crisp, and it's a little bit more visually appealing. As you continue to scroll down, this is one of the parts of the site that we're the most excited about. And I wish you could see this on the larger screen, but what we've done is we've pretty much put anything. If you want to stay, here's 8 places you can go stay in. Majestic Mountain Inn, Cherry Creek Lodge, some of the big heavy hitters, Coles Ranch. But then if you want things to do, or if you want to find a community, if you hit on the communities tab, you have Payson and Globe and Pine and Young and all the different areas showcased really quickly on the site. This whole new design is going to get people where they're going a little bit faster. So if you scroll up, I'll just kind of show you. There's more here to the home page, and like Cameron likes to mention, there is a lot of pages, so you have to go view this probably on your own time and take an afternoon. But if you go to things to do, or it might go to attractions actually, and scroll down and just click on Roosevelt Lake there, that button. So this is one of the subsidiary pages. So just new look and feel with a lot of the same information. And if you keep scrolling, we really used a lot of more visually appealing stuff. A lot of this, if you've been to the website before, a lot of it was text. There was a lot of text. This is a little bit more visually appealing with a lot of the text. So that SEO structure, if you were to search Roosevelt Lake, we are #1 on when you search it into Google. That's never going to leave with this new website. We've already built that over the 5 or 6 years. Now we're just putting a little bit more visually appealing assets to it. One of the very cool things that Cameron was talking about, if you click on that, on the hamburger icon in the right-hand corner, is the eat and stay functionality of the website. So before it was really hard to find a place to eat or stay in the areas, the way that we had it programmed before. But if I scroll down here and click on places to stay, you'll see that we've created this search functionality like Cameron talked about. So it's right there in front of you. It's very Zillow-esque. If I went to the map and I zoomed in on, let's say, zoom in on Young there. Yeah. The map changes on that side. So very, very, like Cameron said, like Zillow or some of these other hoteliers. So when I zoom in on Young, it's going to show me the Young properties that I could go stay in. So just making more things on the website user-friendly, that it becomes more of a resource to them, that they want to come back over and over and over to use this as they're planning their trip to Gila County, which is really important. Very similar to the way that we programmed the places to eat as well in the area. What was the last thing here? So just a lot of different assets there that we've created to just make it so easy for people to want to come back here. So,
yeah, and I would recommend going home and checking it out. Let us know if you see certain things that you'd like to change. But we're gonna launch this site actually officially at those 2 meetings on the 12th and the 14th. So I hope you'll come and see that. So let's go. I gotta remember I'm responsible for this. Okay. All right. So a couple of things I just want to point out numbers wise so that you guys can see the actual numbers behind why it's been so successful. but over 4,345,790 pages have been seen on Discover Gila County since it went live. Okay, visitors spend almost 7 minutes per session, and that puts Discover Gila County in the top 86% of tourism websites in North America, which is actually really cool. In 2023, 81% of our traffic came from Google. That's the holy grail. Now that you don't have to pay for that, it obviously you guys pay us to do that. And the great thing about it is we're delivering that. And so getting to the top, like Chaz said, that's not easy to do, but we've been able to do it with this website very efficiently. That is 91% higher than other sites like Discover Gila County in our industry. Our site has 293 pages that rank in the top 5 spots on Google, and that's over. Let's see, that ranked in the top 5 spots on the first page in over 73% of our keyword terms. So that means when you do a search for something that we've programmed it for, we're going to come up usually in the top 5 spots on that search on that page. Give me a quick couple. What's more?
Pine, Arizona, we're number 1. Young, Arizona, any, Mogollon Rim,
Globe,
Roosevelt Lake,
we're number
Globe,
1. Yep. So we get asked this a lot. Well, how many people come to Discover, or how many people have been to Discover Gila County? Over 600,000 people have visited in the last 5 years. So that's pretty amazing. That's almost 120 per year. First year was about 50,000. Last year was 250,000. So it is growing every single year. To the social media side, almost a little over 11.5 million people have seen our stuff on social media, which is just mind-boggling that we're reaching that kind of an audience. We have 21,000 followers on Facebook right now, and our Instagram feed continues to grow. It's up 84% in 2024 at 13,900 followers. Our YouTube channel is increasing as well. People have spent 56 hours watching our videos since January 2024, which is up 71%. So those are just some stats. This is the big one, and I was talking to both of you the other night. I don't think Tim or Supervisor Humphrey has seen this yet, but this is really where the rubber meets the road for me. Okay, does this have a pointer? No? It doesn't show on the TV. Okay, so and I can't really walk over there, but you see the green bar there on the graph? So when we started in 2019, when this program kicked off, the Arizona Office of Tourism reported that Gila County had direct spending totaling $296.5 million. Okay? So now I'm going to switch to this one. So direct spending in 2023, which is what we have the latest data on from AOT, is that it's increased to $380.1 million. Now, if you do the quick math, that's $83.6 million, or a 29% increase. Okay? Does this program equate for all of that? Probably not, to be very honest with you, but it definitely has a purpose in getting a lot of that money to come this way. So if you look at the graph there, you'll see, and this will actually probably make it easier. If I go back, you see the green, and then you see 2020, which we all know what happened in 2020. But every year since 2020, it's gone up. There have been record-setting years as far as direct spending goes in Gila County. So that's pretty impressive. And I think it has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk to. Obviously, the website has been a huge thing. You've heard me talk a couple of times about our video series, Channel 3, Channel 5, and Channel 12. These numbers are almost staggering, actually. This last year, we shot three tourist attractions, and Roosevelt Lake, the Mogollon Rim, and Gila County Wine Country. Those were the three videos that we used. We did a fast version, which you guys saw earlier in the year. We also did a story version that we put out there. So there were a total of 6 videos that went out. On channel 3 and 5, their streaming network from February, March, and April, we targeted the NCAA tournament, Barrett Jackson, WMI Open, and the Arabian Horse Show. Okay. 45% of the people that saw that ad come up watched it through to completion. It equated to 17,000 website visits on that one campaign. Okay. In the fall, we actually did a test with 12 News on their Premium network. We used all the same 6 videos. Because of that, our Roosevelt Lake page has become the #1 page on the website. People are visiting, which is pretty cool. Early indicators show that from that campaign, 97.8% of the audience that watched the videos watched it through to completion. Almost 100% of the people that saw that ad come up watched it. That's totaled 1,908 hours of our videos being watched during this one campaign. So kind of a cool little story here. You all know Clifford Perch, professional fisherman. So he called me the other day as this campaign was rolling out, and he says, "Hey, I've gotten 3 phone calls from my buddies that are down in Scottsdale, and they were watching the MLB network, which is Major League Baseball network. And he said, we saw you driving in your boat and fishing." And they said, "Why are you giving out all the great secrets about our best fishing hole?" So that was pretty cool, proof positive that these videos are getting out there and that people are seeing them. Part of the 12 News package that we got was a interview that we were actually able to do on Arizona Midday. And I'm just going to show you this because you guys normally don't get to see this kind of stuff. How do I make that video play? Can you do that? Yeah, there you go. See if it'll play it all right.
Ready to hit the road and explore the wild? Well, you'll definitely want to visit Gila County right here in Arizona.
It's not playing. Nah, okay, that's okay. That's all right. So you can see that if you go to our Facebook page, you can actually see the video that we did. Chaz and I both did an interview with one of their folks, news anchors there. Talked all about Gila County. It was about 5 minutes long and just some really good details that got out. There was about 50,000 people that were watching that morning. So we're taking the budget that you're giving us and we're really optimizing it and getting a lot of people involved. So this next slide here, as you go around and you talk about the very good things that you're doing for the county, and I truly do believe this group of supervisors has done a fantastic job. I'm not just saying that, but this is actually really cool when you look at this slide. And I want to bring it up because this is our 5th anniversary, and I want you to realize what we've accomplished in this short time. In 2019, when we launched the site, we received the Website of the Year from AED, which is the Arizona Association of Economic Development. We also received their Social Media Program Merit Award. In 2021, we received the Arizona Game and Fish Partner of the Year Award. We also received from the Azima organization, the Arizona Innovation Marketing Association, the Nonprofit Government Agency Website of the Year. Also in 2021, the Arizona Association of Economic Development, we received their Golden Prospector Award for Best Marketing Website. That's the highest award that they provide. AED also gave us their Social Media Program of the Year that year. The Arizona Association of Counties gave us the Summit Award in Community and Economic Development, and that was presented to Gila County for the Discover Gila County Marketing Program. We also received the Arizona Association of Counties Partnership of the Year Award. I know you were there. I don't remember where you, I think Supervisor Humphrey, you might have been at that one. We were totally surprised by that. They awarded Discover Gila County that award on their own. One of the biggest awards we've received so far is the Arizona Office of Tourism Best Marketing Campaign Award, which is probably the most prestigious award you can get for a marketing program for what we do. 2023, we received an achievement award from the National Association of Counties for Best Marketing Program. And that's actually sitting on the wall right over there, which is really, I was glad to see that up. The Arizona Innovation Marketing Association this year in 2024. And this really speaks, these next two awards are really because of Chaz. So you talked about his skill set. This is because of what he's been able to do for Discover Gila County. But they awarded us the Mastery for Search Engine Optimization Strategy of the Year. And you two were there, you saw it. There was about 7 that paraded up there and got what was called the Excellence Award. We received the Mastery Award, which is the highest level you can get. So pretty cool. Then the last, Arizona Association of Economic Development recognized Discover Gila County with its best, or with the best multimedia video program that I just told you about. So it's not just a website anymore, it's a full program that is really showcasing in a lot of different ways. So almost done here. So these are the new things that we're working on for next year. Now that we have the new site and it's live, we are going to shoot 3 new destinations. They will be Peridot Mesa, Pine Strawberry, and the Pinal Mountains. Those are going to be our 3 focuses this year. We're hoping to be able to talk Brady Elson, who is a silver medalist in the Olympics this last year from Gila County, into doing some kind of video this year that we can also use, and also maybe a Clipper Perch video that we can put out just to showcase some of our local celebrities. The last thing that I'll tell you is we're getting ready to look at the next 5 years and what we can accomplish with that. And in order to do that, we need to go through and do a market readjustment and study and plan. So that's on the list for this next year. We want to take that user stakeholder data that we received in those meetings in February and really put those to work. And then lastly, create a way to start to monetize the traffic that we're seeing from the website. So
I would just, at the end here, I wanted to add in one thing that I think we left off the presentation. So in the last couple weeks, we've had the opportunity from local business owners in Pine, in Strawberry, and in Roosevelt Lake area, invite us up to their homes and businesses and ask what else that they could do to get involved with Gila County. It was so fun. We sat with about 15 to 20 business owners in the Pine Strawberry area for a couple hours to just brainstorm what else we could be doing inside the county and how they could use Discover Gila County as the medium to promote it, which is so exciting. And similar things in Roosevelt Lake, that the people in these communities are like, man, get on this train. And so that's been really exciting for us the last couple weeks to just see how that's starting to come together.
And I think I said this the other night, I feel like we're just barely touching the top of the mountaintop right now. I mean, there's so many other things that we can do with this program. That's what excites me. The meeting he's talking about, they wanted to be a part of this program, and I think we're going to see that with more and more of the businesses, local businesses, and groups throughout. So I hope all 3 of you can come to either the November 12th or the November 14th kickoff meeting, relaunch meetings that we're going to have. And that is the end of my presentation today. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Cameron and Chaz. Welcome. Supervisor Humphrey, do you have anything you'd like to contribute?
No, I apologize for being late. I was on a website for blight for the Gila County, and it was people from statewide. We're trying to get our legislature involved in some of our blighted properties with some of their property laws. And so anyway, that's why I chose to be there, and so I apologize. But no, I was with this before it was born with the Industrial Development Authority of Gila County.
we tried to start working at years ago. And so it's great that we, as a Board of Supervisors, have been behind it, and what you've done has been fantastic. And it's done a lot of great things for Gila County. Like I say, during when we had COVID, all the people from the cities were coming up here because of this. I live at Roosevelt, and when you go to Schoolhouse Point and there's not a slip to park in, it's working. Discover Gila County, they found us. And so appreciate it very much. And as going forward and you meet with the other businesses and things, in the 5-year plan and going forward, just my question, I don't expect you to answer it today, but it's a conversation of perhaps maybe we're reaching so many people, some advertisement to be able to help fund some of the expenses of how well you're doing and where you want to go. And so that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you. So you guys have done an awesome job. You've come a long ways. It's really been cool. There's a couple of things. One is I'm really glad to see that direct spending, those numbers on that, Cameron, because I don't know if you remember, but that was a big fight we had getting started. We wanted to put money into this. We, as a board, knew there'd be a return and a benefit to the county, but we had no way of proving that. It was just common sense. And so right now, today, you can really see that. The direct spending, eventually, percentage of that works back into the county. So that's been awesome. What I was thinking, maybe this next year, you put Chaz on one of those rafts coming down Salt River with a video camera. I think that'd be a really cool deal. You can swim, can't you?
He is a
And
swimmer.
then if we can do that and then get our flags up and put all that into Discover Gila County, oh yeah. But you guys are doing an awesome job. I really want to thank you, and I'm glad I'm here to help support you guys however we need to. So.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the hash knife, the arrow fair, and the rodeo down here. There's so much rodeo
There is.
pacing. There's so much, yeah, and you're just scratching the surface. And yet you guys are taking away award after award. It just, cost to benefit is just so enormous. And I think you guys are not 100% responsible, but the growth of that $83 million is very attributable to the website and what you're providing. People just did not know what Gila County had, and now they do. And so we really appreciate both of you guys and everything that you do.
Thank you very much.
We have Mr. Art Scher. Please come up to the podium. You'd like to say something.
Yeah, I just had to say that Cameron and his son have not really said it. What he has done for the veterans, and we represent almost 7,000 vets in Gila County. And I want to tell you, we'll be together on Veterans Day, what he has done for the veterans and how they appreciate it, and they talk about him. We'll be in a movie theater, I would be remiss, and I wasn't going to say a word, if I didn't tell you what he's doing for the veteran community here in Gila County. So I thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Art. Okay, anything else?
I'm good. Thank you.
No?
All right.
We're all good. Thank you, Cameron and
Thank you,
Chad.
guys.
Really appreciate it. Okay, so moving on to item number 3, call to the public. Is there anyone here in Globe that wishes to speak to the board at this time? No? And Cassie, do we have anybody? No? And Lisa, you look like you're all alone. No, okay. No, all right, then moving on to item 4, which is our reports, and I'll turn it over to Manager O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Chairman. I see County Manager Menlove in the audience, so if he has an update, he's more than welcome to come up and give it, but I do not have one.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Menlove.
I did want to say one thing, that on Thursday will be my eighth year anniversary with Gila County. And I want to say that it's been a privilege to work with you as members of the boards of supervisor. Across the board, the things that you have accomplished, the things that you have done, the forward thinking, the forward moving of investing in the county has really changed the dynamic. So I thank you for all that you've done to further and enhance and improve the quality of life for the citizens of Gila County. It's been quite a ride, and I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you. And you say that's the October 31st will be your anniversary.
October 31st will be 8 years.
Okay, you should celebrate. Dress up.
I think I'll dress as a county administrator.
There you go. Supervisor Humphrey.
No, not a whole lot. I'll be on Kiko Radio tomorrow at, I think about 8:30, 8:40. And other than that, not a whole lot. Just trying to get ready for the holidays and those kind of things. So, the meeting life and things kind of slow down around the holidays, so. But anyway, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Chair. On October 19th is Saturday, me and Kathy attended a gala there in Superior at the Arboretum. It was their 100-year anniversary. And also, we were presented an award for the Copper Corridor Blight Busters program. And the reason we're there is because we're the fiscal agent for that nonprofit group. And so they're doing an outstanding job, getting a lot done. They've got some really good projects lined up and a really good group of people working on that as well. So we were there for that. And then on Thursday, October 24th, I was with you and we were down there in Tempe with Cameron to receive the Arizona Initiative Marketing Awards, the TIM Awards. So it was really good to be there and see that, and good to be a part of it. Those guys are doing an outstanding job. So other than that, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that award was great. They have like, I don't know how much business is right in that one spot and not enough parking for anybody. So anyway, it was kind of funny. But that was a great award, just another award, one right after the other. So very, very pleasing to see that. So last Saturday, I attended part of a mock rescue for the Tunnel Rim Search and Rescue out at Second Crossing. They do that regularly, invited me to come out. And after that, I went to the Aero Fair on that same Saturday. It was a great thing at the Payson Airport. And on that same day, I went to the Iron Horse Rally, which is put on to get money together for the veterans and for scholarships. And on that same day, I also went to the Highline Bike Rally, which was in Christopher Creek. So I was invited to all those. The Highline Bike Rally raises money to try and improve the Highline Trail. And so, and that's a great thing. I believe Northern Gila County is going to become really a mountain biking mecca with all the trails and everything that everyone is doing. So it just brings more economy, and that's all great, I think. So KMOG, I was on KMOG last Monday, I guess it was, and that went well. And so that's just a few things I've been doing. There's plenty of other stuff on it, but I won't mention everything. So that's all I really have. Is there anything else from anybody? Okay, so we got away good, 11:30. So I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.